everybody. This is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and we are ready for the 9th day of Christmas. At least the tag for the 9th day of Christmas. And today I'm doing something that's kind of fun, kind of unique. Not unique to me. I'm not the one that developed this technique. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. So the first thing that I did is I pulled out this stamp set that I have from Inkadinkado, and it's a snowflake stamp set. And this is one big stamp on the side, and then this is a second stamp here. This one says Happy Holidays, and this is just a big, almost like a border stamp. And I used both of those. I also pulled out some watercolor paper, which I don't know what I did with it, but I know that if you've been following this series, you missed the 7th day. That's because when I was transferring it to my computer, I have to admit, I accidentally deleted it. So if you want to see the tag for the 7th day, you're going to have to go on my blog at www.djsundry.blogspot.com. The technique that I used that day is I used my distress markers, and I used the watercolor paper, and I did some fun watercoloring on that to make a fun tag. And it was very pretty. And as I said, the photograph is on my blog, but the video is lost in Never Never Land. I'm using a similar technique, only today I'm going to be using Distress ink, and I'm going to show you how well they blend together. But when I did the markers, it was a totally different way to do this. Earlier in the series, I mentioned to you that I wanted to show you a resist technique for my tags, and that's what I'm going to show you today. So let's get started. I'm going to set my ribbon aside there. I believe those are the colors of ribbon I'm going to use, but I'm going to hold on because I'm not 100% sure yet. So I've chosen Evergreen Bough, Ice Spruce, and Festive Berries. And the reason I chose these three colors is because those colors were part of the seasonal pack. They were designed to go together. Not necessarily colors I would have put together, but I'm not an artist, and they do go beautifully together. And I am going to show you what's going to happen when we put these together. So I've already prepped my tag, and what I did is I stamped that image, and I doubt that the camera picks this up well at all. But I stamped my image using Versamark ink, and I stamped both of them, and then I heat embossed them with white embossing powder. Now, I showed earlier in the series an embossing. This is the resist technique. I did white on white. Now, my white is not a true white. It has a little bit of almost a creaminess to it, but it's called white. But it will still work for this technique, though you do see it a little bit. You'll see it a lot better when we're done. So I'm going to pull the lids off here, which is something I don't often do, is pull the lids off and leave them, because I'm pretty picky about taking care of my ink pads. But for today, I'm going to. And I'm going to kind of color or choose areas to place color and kind of blend them together. So with the Festive Berries, I'm going to start up here, and I'm going to start working my way into the tag. I'm going to come a little ways down like so, and just work my way into the tag. And you'll start to see some of that coming through. Not a lot, but a little bit's coming through. Now we're going to start down here at the bottom with the Ice Spruce, and we're going to come up from the bottom. And you see I'm working in a circular motion because I don't want my strokes to show. I want it to look like it's faded in. And as you see, there we have even, you can start to see those snowflakes coming through. And then I'm going to go through with my Evergreen Bough, and we're going to kind of bring those two colors together. We're just going to go up the middle and bring those together. Now I'm going to bring some of this Evergreen Bough out to the edges and kind of bring that in. Now, traditional Christmas red and green, a little bit with a hint of the blue in it, but a very non-traditional soft color fill. Okay, so we have done that. Now, the other day when I mentioned, and I may go back in and blend some more, just so you know. We'll decide when we're done. The other day when we were originally talking about the distress markers. I mentioned that when you add color to the markers, it intensifies the color, it melds them together and kind of wets them together. Now this baby wipe that I have is fairly dry. The reason I want the baby wipe right now is because I want to go back over, and what I'm doing is I'm going over that embossing, not because the inks will not stick to the top of the embossing very well, and so you get, once you wipe off that slick, which would have been rubbed off with a finger, now you can see the white coming through. Isn't that pretty? And that's known as a resist technique. So I could just leave it like that, but instead, let me put the tops on. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get it wet. And how am I going to get it wet? You can get it wet however you want. You could spritz it with just plain water. You could just maybe use a wet baby wipe, and that would blend them in together a little bit. But I am going to use, I make or have made in the past my own Perfect Pearl spray. And how I did that is I just took plain water and I used my Perfect Pearls and put some in there, and then I shake it up. And what it does is it makes this glistening spray, and that's what we're going to use on our tag today. I'm just going to do a few spritzes here. Now there's a couple things we could do. I could just leave it like this if I wanted to, and yes, the tag's curling back up, but by the time it dries, it will be flat, and then I'll adhere it to the tag, and then it'll really be flat. But what it's going to do here is it's going to pick up, it's going to give it a little bit of shimmer, but then it's going to continue to blend those colors in together. So now if I go back in with my baby wipe that's dry and just dab at it, so I'm getting it off of my embossing. So now my embossing's coming through even more. And I've got the shimmer that you barely can you see, but there's just a hint of shimmer in there from the Perfect Pearls. Now I'm going to clean up my mat. Normally I have a light or a box. I have an old shoe box that I have paper in that I do that on, so I don't have to clean it up. So I am going to actually pause for the sake of the video while this is drying. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my embossing tool and I'm going to heat it up and dry it out that way, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so I'm back and it's all nice and dry. I've already trimmed it. Well, almost finished trimming it here. It's kind of messy right there. There we go. Trimmed it to fit my tag, cut my hole in it, and I put my ribbon in. Now this ribbon, this is white from the red, white, and blue seasonal ribbon that came out last summer during the 4th of July. And then this aqua is Aqua Splash, and it comes with coral in the bundle. And typically those aren't colors you really think of as Christmas colors, but they match beautifully on the front. In fact, now that when I have my tag here and I just have that faint shimmer coming through, I almost hate to put my number on it. But alas, it's the 12 days of Christmas and we need to have our number. Let me show you the back of the tag real quick before I do. Now, this is in a different tone, and had I realized exactly how soft the front would look, I probably would have chosen different paper, but I had already done the back of the tag. But I'm still using the same colors. In fact, if you see my white here, you see the festive berries, you see the the evergreen bough and the ice spruce coming through around the edges, and I even inked around the edges of the tag. So they still, this dark red is what's getting me, but it still is in the same tone family as the festive berries. So there we have the front of our tags. You can read the Happy Holidays now. It's got that nice shimmer and sparkle, and I am going to put our number 9 right here. But you know, let's see. Well, we'll go ahead and glue it down today. I was going to do something different with it, but I think we'll go ahead and glue it down using glossy accents like I have so many of the others. Let me just make sure my glossy accents is working, because glossy accents, I've discovered, I love my glossy accents, don't get me wrong, but it clogs very, very easily. So just beware. Now I don't want to use much glue, because what happens when you do is it pushes out the edges and you see it. And I've done that on some of the tags, and I don't want it to be seen underneath. I'm out of my Tombow Mono, or I would use that where I can make smaller dots a little bit easier, but I can't seem to squeeze much more out of the bottle. So I'm just going to hold that down for a second. Remember, these all curled with the glossy accents once I let them dry. And the nice thing about these glossy accented numbers is my tags are very consistent. They all look the same in that way. Black probably would have not been my first choice for this, but I didn't want to switch up the tags, but it still just kind of fits in there nice. So on the 9th day of Christmas. So thanks so much for stopping by today, and remember to take some time to enjoy the little things. Don't forget to go over to www.djsundry.blogspot.com and link up your Christmas tags. Have a great day. Bye.